Hey there, spooky friends, and welcome to the 6-year anniversary episode of the Scaryish podcast.
Woo!
If you're new here, welcome. It's we've been doing this for 6 years. I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
You guys have been on a journey with us of growth and change.
We have been doing this for a long time. We started this. We had the concept for it in fall of 2017. And we put voice to microphone for the first time, I think, mid-November 2017. And yeah, I think our first episode dropped like November 27th, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit over the 1-year anniversary. But it's cool because the Spotify Wrapped for Podcasters just dropped. So I can post up some of the statistics that we got regarding how awesome the audience is and things like that.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. 2023 was crazy. You've seen, for the past 6 years, you guys have seen us move. You guys have seen us lose the dog.
Or hurt us.
Gain a new dog.
Yeah, you've heard all these things happen. It's been a crazy up and down. We covered pandemics. We went through one together. Yeah. Now Robin's an F1 girl. That happened. We never would have.
Why you gotta bring it up?
Never would have guessed that back in 2017. But hey, here's where we are, and it's a pretty good time. I think this year was like the first year where here's what I will say. Despite the fact that we had good numbers that were even better than last year, we've grown every year since we started as a podcast.
Nice.
This is the year we did the least amount of episodes. Kind of like taking our mental health into account, making sure that we could take breaks here and there, and the audience stuck around for it. You folks are amazing for that, and we appreciate you. So, and now we're kind of on Christmas break. We're not exactly doing topic episodes, but we have good content. So obviously this is the anniversary episode, which is always just us bullshitting, answering bunches of questions that you guys sent in. And then next week, I think maybe we're going to do our trivia episode. We have a trivia episode we've already recorded. It was hilarious. It really made us realize how
little we know about our own content.
I was going to say we remember. But it was fun. It was a good time. We laughed a lot.
I learned that science is not my thing. Scientific terminology for different things is not my thing.
I learned that in Jeopardy, if you answer questions wrong, you lose money. So
I learned that I'm very good at Mandela effect things.
I learned that Robin's very good at just not answering things wrong, so she doesn't lose money. So it was really, very fun, though. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, I think 2013 overall was a good year. So we appreciate you guys coming along for the ride for us. We still got a couple weeks left on this thing, and then New Year's, obviously. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that goes. But I think this episode's going to be mostly dedicated to answering questions from all you folks, and we got a lot. So we'll see how long it takes us to get through the full list, and then we'll go from there. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, on to the list of questions from you wonderful listeners. This first one actually the question starts out saying the first one, because people sent in multiple questions.
All right.
So this first one says, you go to sleep and in the morning you wake up as a cryptid/mythical creature. What did you turn into? Please answer it for the other person. For example, you can base it on personality. Do you want to go first, or should I?
I'll go first. I say you're Mothman because
that's exactly the cryptid I want to be.
Because you would show up and tell people, bad stuff's gonna happen. Either you listen to me or you don't. That's up to you. But hey, I'm here. I'm hot. I'm leaving.
Yeah, 100%. I would show up and I'd be like, when I'm going to talk, you guys should know what it means if I show up. You hang around, that's on you. I'll probably stick around and watch you die.
Also, if you guys have played Fallout 76. Mothman leaves his eggs everywhere. That would be you.
Weird.
Leaving your eggs everywhere.
I don't remember that in Fallout 76,
really?
But I barely played it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Answering for you, I think you would be the Loch Ness Monster. Because you're just beautiful and majestic and elusive, and everyone wants to see you, and I'd like you to be underwater for an extended period of time.
Imagine me going to sleep and then waking up as the Loch Ness Monster, just a big flopping fucking creature on the bed.
You wake up and be like, I need about tree fitting. That's a South Park joke, 100%.
I'd be like a huge Lapras just hanging out.
I'd be like, are you a Lapras or are you a Loch Ness Monster? Either way, yes. This is fucking awesome. So, right on. Thank you for that question, Nalina.
All right. So, for the next one, the question is, what games have you been looking at to play on stream or not?
We just talked about this because tonight, as we're recording, the Game Awards just happened. And although there's a lot of them out there that we've been thinking about, I think Alan Wake 2 right now is really...
Alan Wake. I would love to play Alan Wake.
I never played the first one for me either.
I want to keep playing Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate's so good.
I love Baldur's Gate.
Diablo 4 is fun to play too. It's like kind of like ghoulish, spooky content. Sounds really good.
I want to play Cult of the Lamb.
We didn't finish Resident Evil 4.
Oh, what? We didn't finish that freaking game?
Pretty sure we didn't finish it, so we definitely got to go back to that.
No, I thought we did.
There's another one you talked about, Party Animals, right?
Party Animals. I want to play Party Animals. I think that would be cool.
Wouldn't mind going back to some Among Us too. Outside of that, I got to finish Baldur's Gate 3. I have to finish Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm nowhere near finishing Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like I haven't even touched the story.
You haven't. You're nowhere near it. I'm like 120 hours into Baldur's Gate 3, and you're at like 6. So
I'm way more than 6, beach.
No. We die a lot when we play together because you're not used to the combat system, and as you're learning, we have to reload the game. So even though we're like 14 hours into playing, I'd say you're 6 hours into the story.
Oh. I like Diablo a lot. The new Diablo is fire.
Fire.
I still haven't even beat the story because I do so many of the gosh darn side quests. I'm like maxing out all these different characters and not playing the storyline.
She hasn't even gotten her mounts on any of them. God. And that happens, I'm pretty sure, in the 3rd or 4th act of 5 acts.
So, yeah.
Also, I went back to World of Warcraft for this thing called Season of Discovery. It's been kind of fun.
Adam's been streaming that, so if you did want to watch him play that on his
Twitch.tv/Maylum, Maylum. But yeah, thank you for sending that one in, Roman. This next one says, are there any episodes that particularly moved you in researching? Like ones that really evoked a lot of emotion, whether it be shocked, happiness, or surprise?
You know, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that, like the actual names of things. I know a lot of the true crime ones are shocking for me. The fact, there was that one topic that I think I did where it was like someone got murdered in front of this apartment complex or something in this community, and everybody saw it happen. And no one did anything. I think that is like one of the bigger ones.
Is that the town that committed murder?
That's a different one.
Okay, that one stuck with me because I was just like, yeah, fuck that guy. Because he sounded awful, and the town was just like, this fucking guy's going to get got. And we're all going to cover for each other. I was just like, that's kind of crazy. As far as shocked goes, like shocked and saddened, a lot of the true crime ones make me really sad. That's kind of why I don't cover a lot of them. Disappearance ones bother me to cover. It makes me super upset going through them to know, like, this person's family has no idea what happened to them. I always try and like toss in like, here's who you can reach out to if you have any information. Lauren Spreer is the one that comes to mind, especially because I think that was Indiana University. So that one sucks. I hate going over that one and thinking like, it's infuriating to know people out there absolutely know what happened. Someone out there knows, and that family is still tormented by the fact that she's gone.
Right.
So those ones are unfortunate. But either way, that's a really good question. So thank you for sending that in, Crow.
All right, so the next one is, which state is your favorite to do research on when it comes to cryptids/native stories? I don't think I have a particular state. I think I've covered, lots of ghosts in a lot of different places. I think Boston has a lot of history. I think that would be cool to look into more. Massachusetts in general, all the original colony locations. I bet there's a lot of history, a lot of ghosts, things like that there. So I don't know.
So far for me is if you're sticking to states, I always like doing Indiana. It's my home state. It's where I'm from, and learning new stuff about where I'm from is always very interesting. Or uncovering the story behind shit that I've heard is very fun. Outside of the United States, though, I really like covering stuff overseas, especially Japan. I find the ones in Japan super fascinating because I think it's really tied into a different type of culture that they have, and they're always also incredibly terrifying. So
yeah, I think when it comes to ghost stories, legends in Japan, they're so creative, and they're a million times scarier.
Yeah,
it's just there's so much lore.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Don't know why. I feel less likely to face it head on. I am more likely to flee. It's going to evoke the flight and the fight or flight. So yeah, thank you for that one, Sir Shellsworth. All right, moving right along. Is there an episode or script you wish you could go back and redo? Why and what would you change?
I think there's some topics we could revisit because they've been solved now.
That's true.
Certain mysteries, certain disappearances, certain murder, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really gone back through our list and checked, but I think there's a lot of things that we could go back and talk about, or like why and what I would change. There's some topics that I feel like we've been trying to research a day and then we're like, oh fuck, I've already done this topic. But then you realize, then you realize the research and the writing that you've done this time around
is better than last time.
I
did a second script. I think I mentioned it earlier this year. And by the time I was done, I was like, I covered this. It just hit me as soon as I finished my topic. I named it something slightly different. My first script was 4 pages. This script is 6 pages. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Can't retell the story though, but it did make me feel like maybe we should go revisit some of those topics.
Maybe like that topic that you did a whole script on already, you could do as like a special Patreon.
Like a revisited.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Maybe. Outside of that, I do wish for some of the conspiracy theory topics that I've covered. I think this year I really got into my disclaimer at the beginning of like, I don't give a fuck if this offends you, don't at me.
Yeah.
Whereas the first 5 years of the podcast, I was just like, hey everyone, like, you know, I'm just the person telling you about what I found. I've taken a lot of shit for just covering stuff, like it's stuff that's documented, multiple interviews in multiple documentaries, people's testimony on the stands, getting people who read a book about a conspiracy theory that's different from what I was covering, being like, that never happened. And it's like, well, I can fucking show you the footage and I'm not going to argue with you about this, but like the fact that I've moved past that just to get to the point where it's like, I don't fucking care if you want to tell me like, well, I read one book one time and it didn't agree with everything you said. That shit is something that I'm happy I've kind of put my foot down on and put my disclaimer up front, like, don't fucking at me. I don't care. So I wish I would have done that a little bit more often in the past, but hey, I'll keep it going in the future.
Nice. All right. So, thank you, Amber, for sending that question. All right, next one is if you're able to move anywhere in the world without having to worry about finances or your living situation, what would be your top 5 places, like country, city, whatever, what have you, and why? And don't worry about work because it's fully remote.
Okay.
What
so
would you do?
I don't have to worry about money. Don't have to worry about any of that.
No worrying about what you're going to do, what your living situation is, how much you make.
See, it's kind of weird because some places are just generally expensive outside of the rent and shit. So if I'm not worried about finances at all, LA, Chicago, New York, top 3 in the United States. They're beautiful cities. They're huge. They have everything you could ever want. I do miss Vegas a little bit, but I can always go back to Vegas if I want to. There's nothing holding me back from that. And then Tokyo is probably in my top 5 for sure. Tokyo was amazing. I fucking loved every second of it.
I don't think I would want to live in Tokyo. I think I'd want to live in like Yokohama or something just outside of Tokyo.
Oh, cool. Let me scratch that off my list then. Thank you for letting me know. And then number 5, I'm not too sure. Those are my top 4 for sure.
All right. Yeah, definitely Japan. I would do Japan. Something just outside of Tokyo because you could just take the train into the city and pay a lot less on rent. I mean, I know finances aren't a problem, but there's Japan. I would do somewhere in UK, London area. That would be really neat to do. I think Canada, somewhere in Canada would be nice, and the West Coast Canada. I don't speak French, so I can't go East Coast Canada. But
I mean, I don't think East Coast Canada speaks French. I'm pretty sure
Quebec.
I'm pretty sure that's middle of Canada.
Is it?
I'm not sure. I gotta look.
I don't know. We aren't.
I would probably like to live, if I'm going to do a number 5, someplace very remote where I have a huge plot of land, and since there's finances,
huge tracts of land,
it's completely taken care of. I don't have to fucking mow it anymore or take care of all that nonsense, and I can just hang out, let my dogs run around, go fishing, all that fun stuff. So wait, what did I say? So I said God, you're
Japan,
gonna ask me to remember.
UK, Canada. I don't think I want to live in New York. I don't think it's my vibe, you know? I like living out here in California. I think I'd want to live closer to LA. I think that'd be amazing. I don't know, maybe trying out like some other European country that speaks more English than not.
But you don't know because you've never been to those places. So maybe after this year, maybe on the 7th year anniversary.
Not having to pay for health insurance
would be nice. Maybe at the 7th year anniversary episode, we can talk more. We can revisit this question and give you more information because we're going to travel a bit in 2024. So that'll be fun. Thank you, Chunkster, for sending that one in. Chunkster has another one, and this is probably the most complicated question I've ever been asked in my life, let alone on one of these episodes.
You got to do some research on this question. I haven't looked it up.
I warned you like 5 times today. I gave you this question like 9 hours early so you could do this. All right. This next question is, could each of you make a list of the top 10 husbandos/wifeys for one another? For example, Adam will make a list of who would be Robin's top husbandos/wifeys without asking, and it only has to be his guess, and vice versa for Robin. This could be celebrities, fictional characters from games, shows, books, animes, etc. Keep it secret from one another, and you can only reveal it on the episode.
Okay. So
explicit instructions from Chunkster on this one.
Let's do top 5 because 10 is just a little too many.
Okay.
But you can go first because you already have yours. I have a couple in mind. But
I have 6 that I might bump to 7. I'll do 6 in an honorary mention.
All right, go.
All right, my honorary mention, I'll start with that one, is going to be Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3. Because the voice actor just won an award at the Video Game Awards for Best Performance this year.
You know what? I let him suck me to death, okay? In
wow,
Baldur's
weird
Gate.
way to put it, Robin.
He's a vampire, guys.
She let him drink until her life expired.
Yes.
Fucking slut.
Oh my god.
I let him suck me to death.
Yeah, he's a vampire, and he was just like, no, just a taste, come on. And I'm just like, okay.
Just a taste, come on.
And he murdered me, and Adam had to bring me back to life. It was great.
All right, here's my top 6, in no particular order, because Robin can order them. David Tennant, number 1, is the first one I wrote down. David Tennant was definitely going to be on her list. Okay. Charles Leclerc, who's an F1 driver, obviously from Ferrari.
No, Carlos Sainz is the one.
Also, Carlos Sainz was next on my list. She says no to Charles Leclerc, who she always calls the prettiest of all of them, and
He's the prettiest
and
one.
has his picture on the back of her phone. So, just saying, Spike from Cowboy Bebop, I think, is Robin's vibe. I think he's that cool guy who she just like couldn't resist. Steve from Stranger Things, season 4 in particular. I think Robin would just swoon all over Steve. And last but not least, Evie from The Mummy 1, the hottest librarian in the history of fucking time, played by Rachel Weisz.
Okay, so let's do Carlos Sainz, David Tennant.
No.
What?
You're ordering them now?
I'm ordering them.
She's going to take a break to let you know who she wants the most, even though that's absolutely not the question.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz, David Tennant, Charles Leclerc. And what was the other one? Evie. Evie has to be next because just so hot.
Steve and Spike are your last 2.
I would do Spike and then Steve.
Ouch.
Sorry, Steve.
Steve Harrington loses out to a 2D fictional character from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
All right, so for you, it would have to be Amy Pond. So I always forget what her actual name is.
She'll always be Amelia Pond to me.
Yeah, so I think Amelia Pond would have to be one of yours.
It's Karen Gillan, by the way.
Karen Gillan, yes.
Karen Gillan's so hot. I'll take her in the Nebula full-blown outfit too.
So I think Karen Gillan has to be one. Chris Hemsworth or no, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill has to be another one. Maybe both. Maybe both at the same time.
I almost put Henry Cavill on your list. And I was like, I want him for myself.
Let's see. I don't know who else would be really good for you. Maybe if Zelda.
What the fuck? I guess we'll have to wait for the live action Zelda to come out so we can see.
But it can't be animated? It has to be real?
Have you ever seen a hot Zelda is all I'm saying.
Yeah, when she's chic.
No, the hottest Zelda is definitely the 8-bit one where you see her for like one frame and then the game credits roll. That's the one I want.
You're like triangle boobed Tomb Raider. That's you.
I was never into Lara Croft triangle boobs.
I don't know. You know what? It's really hard for me.
Why?
To figure out like your list of peeps. I'm just like,
you don't know what I'm into, dude.
Yeah, I know you're into Chris Hemsworth and Henry Cavill.
Wow, interesting. So yeah, that's a pretty solid top 4, I suppose.
Yeah.
More guys on there than I would have imagined, but I guess I am largely outspoken.
But oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know. You would have to have Evie on there too.
Yeah, I 100% would. I wrote her down.
Rachel
I was like,
Weisz is just incredibly gorgeous.
There's a fucking post on social media that's like, my sexuality is the mummy. And it's like, it shows Brendan Fraser, it shows Evie, it shows the Arab dude, the super hot one that comes in. Oh god,
yeah.
Yeah, I was just like
100.
Yep. These are so accurate, man. All right. That was an awesome question. Thank you, Chunkster. What a fun Exercise. I suggest you try it with your partner and see if sparks fly or fists fly.
I just think it's funny. It's like, let us tell you who we lust after.
Yes. All right. You read the next question.
All right. The next one is, if money was no object, what would you do as a career or as a hobby other than podcasting and watching the Wheel of Time show? Obviously.
That's funny. I'm not too sure. This is funny. When I was a kid, I say a kid, but I'm really meaning like 16, 17, I identified very strong with the movie Office Space because that whole movie is like, if you had $1 million, what would you do? And the guy's like, I'd do nothing. Like, I wouldn't do shit. Like, I'd do nothing all day. And I'm like, that's how I used to feel. I'm like, if I didn't have to worry about anything, why wouldn't I just fucking hang out? But nowadays, as I've gotten older, I don't know. I'd probably try and get into like more crafting stuff instead of doing just like enamel dice. I'd probably try and make like hard plastic, like official Chessex, like quality dice that are just like gorgeous as shit. And then get like laser engraving and stuff. And I like doing cons and things of that nature. So maybe I'd try and do that for a while. I'd try out a bunch of different hobbies and see what I was good at. And honestly, I'd probably write a fuck ton. So I'm planning, I have like a 2.5 week vacation coming up, and I'm like, I have multiple things that I want to write during that time. So
gonna revamp our website?
Yeah, that's not something I would do if I didn't have to do anything, because web design sucks on my end. So, but yeah, that's the answer for me.
I would move to Japan or some other country and just make videos of me eating food.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I love food. I love trying new types of cuisine, new food, different types of food. I think it would be fun to just travel the world and do that as content.
You'd probably have an editor, though. I don't think you
I would have an editor. I don't want to edit myself, and that's where no money is no object. You just hire someone to do it for you or work with them so they teach you how to do it, and that way,
Yeah. It's really hard for me to think about something along those lines where I'd turn it over to an editor because, like, I always want things to be in my voice. That's why I've never even tried to bring someone in to do research for me or write my scripts, because it's just like, it sounds like me when I write these. It doesn't. I don't want to reread these because I'm just gonna fucking rewrite it in the first place. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was a good question. Thank you for sending that one in, Captain Fake Eye. This one is kind of weird, but I like it. If you guys had to live in a mystery machine and investigate the supernatural across the country, what would it look like? And what would you take with you?
A mystery machine that I could travel across the country in. Maybe a Range Rover. I've seen some videos where people live in their Range Rovers and you can buy all these different attachments and all these different things to make it freaking work. And it's pretty amazing.
I would do like a full 2-story RV that was painted just like the mystery machine.
My problem with that is the idea of driving something so big and so long.
I'm not driving it. I'm taking someone with me that drives it. For sure.
Okay.
And I would
hire your own friend.
I would take everything that you see in the Winchester's trunk, everything that you use in the game Phasmophobia, and even all the fake shit that Zach Bagels uses to supposedly talk to demons that tell him his tattoos look cool. I would take all that stuff. And then, a level, because that usually determines whether or not people are haunted in most cases because their shelves are hung wrong.
I would take the dogs, 100.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking the dogs.
Yeah, you got to take the dogs. And
I think in this mystery machine, like, I'm Fred and you're Daphne, so we'd have to find ourselves a Velma.
No, I want to be Shaggy. What are you talking about?
You don't smoke weed. What the fuck?
I don't smoke weed, but I just want to chill, eat, and hang out with the dog.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll fuck Shaggy then.
What?
Weird.
That's so unnecessary.
I'll be Velma, whatever. All right.
Nah, you're a Fred, 100.
Good question, Lise. I don't have any ascots. Isn't that what he wears? Ascots
he does
all the
wear
time?
An ascot, but like your vibe, you give off a Fred vibe.
Because I'm like, no nonsense. Like, let's get this done. Yeah. Everyone take these rooms. Me and Daphne are going to take the bedroom. We're going to investigate.
What the frick? Why do you always have
20 to 30 minutes.
Is she on your list? Daphne's just like, what the heck?
She is now. I'm more of a Velma dude anyways. That's not.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay,
have mercy.
We're moving on.
Oh.
All right. This next one is Robin's to read.
All right. So if you could swap hosting duties with another podcast, which one would you choose? What show would you love to host? And who would you love to hear host an episode of Scaryish? Why don't you go first?
I don't really know. I was really hoping you would go first. This is a great question, though.
See, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts at all, if any. I right now am literally listening to the Red Bull Racing podcast.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Every aspect of her life is infected with F1.
And I don't listen to a lot of spooky podcasts. I've listened to
it doesn't necessarily need to be a spooky podcast that you want to swap with.
That's true. I mean, I don't want to switch hosting duties with them, though. I've listened to My Favorite Murder.
I'm shocked you haven't asked to start an F1 podcast at this point. When I read this question, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, Robin's probably going to have an F1 podcast.
You know what? It would be incredibly fun, but all I would talk about is what happens off the track. There's some stuff that happens on the track, but like all that drama that happens off the track, after the fact, because of like, say there's a crash or someone pushes someone off the track or stuff like that. I think all that drama that happens off the track is just fascinating. Like the stuff that just happened this week with,
here's the first episode, everyone. Robin's totally forgotten what the question was.
I know, but there was like an investigation into Toto Wolff and his wife about conflict of interest. And I think that would have been really cool, but, it doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. I wouldn't want to, I've listened to, stuff like My Favorite Murder, lore, things like that. I don't think I'd want to swap hosting duties with those because they're so similar, They're so similar to what we do now. I don't think I'm funny enough to take over some other comedy podcast.
Yeah, I agree about that.
Well, maybe you know what that movie.
I'm just about you.
That movie podcast you like.
You think you take over Flophouse?
Flophouse. I think Flophouse would be great.
One, we're trying to start Scene Missing, so it's too much like what we're trying to do. It's already like veering towards Flophouse-ish. Those guys are fucking hilarious, though. They would rock the shit out of our show.
Yeah.
Like I think at least two of them were writers in The Daily Show for a significant amount of time.
Oh, wow.
Which is why that show was so fucking good. It won Emmys all the time.
Oh.
For me, I'm not too sure. I listen to a show nowadays called Triple Click, which is hosted by a guy named Jason Schreier, another guy named Kirk Hamilton, and a lady named Maddie Myers. They're all very funny. They've all worked in games media for a very long time. Jason Schreier is like the dude when it comes to games media. Like he breaks all the big stories, not just like, oh, this game's coming up, but like, hey, did you know like the working conditions in this particular place are atrocious and these are the things that are happening behind the scenes that need to be dealt with. Like he does investigative journalist reporting in an industry that is just filled with like horrible work conditions and environments, and it's just fascinating. He's amazing. I have several of his books and they're all very, very good. And I think they would do a great job at our show. I think their vibe is very similar where like Jason would be very analytical. I think Kirk would like kind of ride the line between the two of like very analytical and like very like scared of things. And I think Maddie would be very similar to you in the way that she would handle her topic or react to other people's topics.
All right.
And I think it'll be really fun to do an episode of a video game podcast again where you just talk about they just talk about one thing, like what's the biggest thing this week in video game news, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about every piece of gaming news like Nerd Chills used to be.
Yeah, right.
But I think I could do it okay. Enough where they wouldn't lose followers.
I would love to have the McElroys host an episode of Scaryish.
It's the obvious answer, and I was really trying to avoid that because I'm trying to broaden my horizons and listen to other content.
But Griffin is so funny.
We could never do their show better than
we could never do
ever.
But like I wouldn't swap with them. I would want them to come in and special guest host. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I just think they're hilarious. Justin and Griffin are my favorite.
They're all my favorite.
Sorry, Travis.
Justin, Griffin, Travis, and Clint are all my favorite.
Oh, Clint is very cute. When we went to go watch them at San Diego Comic-Con, we went to a live show, and seeing them in person, they're just all real cute and funny together.
I agree. They're great, and I would love to see that happen. I don't feel comfortable like I could take over. I think I could guest DM for them. As long as no one else is watching. If it wasn't live and we just recorded it and we just had like time to edit it after the fact, I have a few one shots I could probably run them through that they think were fun and they could be funny during. So,
all right.
That's a really good question though, Salem. Thank you for sending that one in.
Yeah.
Like, solid question. I think this next one's me.
Yeah, sure.
Out of all the cryptids, what ones do you all think are real, could be real, and there's no way it's real? In parentheses, it says, Lizard Man don't count, Adam. And what is the one that scares you the most and why?
I have to say the Lizard Man of whatever that place
South
is.
Carolina.
Yeah, is not real. Not at all.
It doesn't
real.
count. You can't talk about that one. This is Glitch, by the way. Glitch sent this one in.
I think Nessie, I think that was or is real. Who knows? Because it's plausible, right? There's something that lives out there that we just haven't seen. in its entirety. Maybe we don't know where it resides on a daily basis, but I want to believe.
I want to believe.
I want to believe that Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, is real. Let's see. What is the other question?
Here, let me answer that first part.
Okay.
I think the Chupacabra is real. I don't think it's exactly how we think of it in terms of the lore. I don't think it's like a vampire, like dog type of thing. I think it is some sort of thing that happens to an animal, specifically like a wild dog. If it's like got rabies and mange and a combination of a few other things, where it's just like ravenous, it kills things. It seems to drink blood, but really it's just like killing something because it's crazed, like eating a part of it. So it's like gushing blood everywhere and then moving on to kill the next thing. Mm-hmm. I think there's a combination that eventually will realize like this is what causes something to become a Chupacabra.
Okay.
As far as something I don't think is real, I'm less likely to say Sasquatch than I was before. Because Sasquatch to me, Bigfoot, Yeti, all that stuff just seemed like such nonsense. But the more I've done research into it, the more I've been like, this is a legend that's been around for a long time in a lot of different cultures and similar atmospheres. So maybe there's some credence to it. My knee-jerk reaction is to immediately say it, though. Like this one, because it's just all the fucking evidence seems so very fake.
Let's see. Something that is in no way possibly real. That one I think is hard to choose.
Because you already took fucking Lizard Man from us.
Yeah, because
that one's clearly bullshit.
One clearly cannot be real. Sometimes for me, I'm like, Bigfoot cannot possibly be real either, but you never know. Maybe it's a big ape type creature that we just don't see, like the Loch Ness Monster on a daily basis.
Which one's the scariest? Which cryptid do you think is the scariest?
The one that kind of freaks me out a little bit is the Aswang. That one.
The Aswang, as I was saying it before to make fun of the name.
Yeah, I think that one scares me. Just the idea that it could try to steal your baby type thing, you know?
Yeah, I had a coworker who was traveling to the Philippines because we had a call center out there. And she was from the Philippines. We're like, are you excited to go back? And she's like, not really. I haven't been back in like 15 years since I left. And someone in that same meeting was asking me about Scaryish, and we had just covered the Aswang. And I brought it up, and she made us stop talking.
Really?
She was like, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it.
Because she's going.
Because she was going. And she was so freaked out by it, that freaked me out. And I was just like, yeah, that's creepy as shit.
It's like when you try to bring up skinwalkers to certain people, they're like, don't bring it up with me. Yeah. I don't want to. You know,
and it's not a cryptid exactly, but like UFO shit, y'all know that scares the shit out of me. Like,
the
possibility it's real, they could just show up and I'm gone. Everyone would be like, what happened to Adam? And eventually it would just fall out of the fucking news cycle and everyone would just accept the fact that they fucking took me, but you can't prove it. So everyone thinks you're crazy if you talk about it.
All right. Next question. The year is 2032. The Scaryish Netflix original series is entering its fifth season.
You need to record that because you were just shrieking the whole time.
The Scaryish Netflix original series is entering the fifth season and is the hottest show streaming. A live-action docudrama about the beloved hosts' lives and rise to fame is in the works. This will never happen, by the way. Who do each of you want to portray you on the big screen?
I don't say this. I want to give me and you, and then you can give yourself and me. I don't say this out of the fact that they're beautiful and I need to have someone who's beautiful. I think it needs to be an actual couple that portrays us.
Okay.
I think they'd have the best chemistry. I want Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz.
No.
Daniel Craig can literally play anyone.
They're too old by 2032.
Don't even
care. Way too old.
Still nail it. De-age them.
I think I would want Kelly Marie Tran.
Okay.
Because she's incredibly gorgeous and also
very talented
and Asian vibes. Come on. And then for you, who do I want to play you? Has to be a little bit older, but
John Boyega, obviously. Let him finish off that romance they started in Last Jedi.
Oh my gosh, no. Oh,
I like John Boyega.
I like John Boyega too, but like he's not. No,
he doesn't fit my vibe.
He doesn't fit your vibe. It has to be someone who's funny.
I have a very. Unique,
he's funny, but like you're
a very unique vibe.
You're like sarcastic, funny, and like and dick,
handsome and gorgeous. Sometimes, depending on my weight, it's just like the scale goes from like good looking to like off the charts.
Oh my god, I don't know. I've never thought about who would play you.
I need someone who's handsome.
Oscar Isaac, JK.
That'd be fucking awesome. Holy shit. Oh, obviously, it's got to be Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. He was by 2032, definitely not.
You can't imagine who it's going to be in 2032 because, like, anyone who's old enough to play me right now is going to be too old to play me in my docudrama then.
All right, I'm going to pick Timothy Chalamet because he's a baby.
I literally almost said Timothy Chalamet is a joke. That's fucking hilarious. Same vibes. Oh my God.
Thank you so much, I Was Dinner, for sending that question.
That one's really funny. I appreciate it. All right. Of all the places you've covered to date, where do you want to visit the most? Which is a pretty good question because it's like, is it like a scary place that you want to go to, or do you not think it's that scary, or what like kind of weird vibe?
Japan.
It's always Japan for you.
It's always Japan.
Where's the most recent F1 race going to take place? Because that's where Robin wants to visit.
The next one I think is
a joke. Holy fucking
Bahrain.
shit! She took it as a challenge. It's still Stanley Hotel for me. I really want to go see the Stanley Hotel. I don't honestly think it's that haunted. I think it just got hyped up because everyone saw The Shining back in the day.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And someone's like, did you know it's a book? Did you know it's based off of a dream someone had in an actual hotel? So I think that'd be fun to go to. And I think the accommodations would be really nice because Colorado's a really nice state.
I really like the Winchester Mystery House that we went to. I thought that was really fun. I would love to visit the Queen Mary. Never been.
I would like to. I've heard it's kind of a shithole, though, from multiple people who went to see it. Yeah.
Oofa doofa.
This one goes on. I want to read these because they're all from the same person. What places/topics would be counted as the scariest? We've been asked this every year since we started doing the show. Since I've covered it, my answer hasn't changed. It's the true story of the Exorcist, and that one fucked me up. That one freaked me the fuck out.
I think the Sally House, the idea of the Sally House freaks me out.
What is the Sally House?
The Sally House is it's a house that we've covered where like the ghost, the people that lived there named this ghost Sally, and at first they were like, oh, it's just a girl, and things
I remember this one. I remember this one was on Sightings or something like that.
And then the Ghoul Boys went and stayed there, and when they stayed there, like their flashlight would go on and off with the questions that they would ask.
Oh yeah.
Or like they would tell it to turn off or turn on, and it would do it, and it's just the idea of that freaks me out.
The next is also kind of attached to the first question. Of places would you be brave enough to visit, and why/why not? I think I'd be brave enough to visit just about every place I've covered. I'm pretty sure of all the topics we've covered, Robin wouldn't want to go to just about every single one of them.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to go to a lot of them, especially the ones where it's like I've covered forests. I wouldn't want to go anything outside. I always say
if we're going to go to Japan, I want to see, is it Aokigahara Forest?
Aokigahara, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, fuck no.
Yeah, you can go. I'll meet you somewhere else. I'll be eating.
You absolutely won't.
Yeah, you can go by yourself. I'll go and eat somewhere, and you can meet me at the restaurant.
That cluster of questions was from I Am Beef Trainer. Thank you for sending those in.
If you could have a dinner with any 5 famous people, celebrity, science, etc., who would they be, and how would your dinner turn out? I have to have Steve Carell as the comedy. He has to be there because he's hilarious. Famous people, though, I'm like, who do I want? I mean, I just want to sit there and pick his mind on like, how does he come up with all this crazy shit? Because he is incredibly smart. He's an incredibly smart person, but he's also absolutely hilarious. And has no like reservations, right? He's
no reservations.
But I don't know who else I would have. Who? I mean, what do you got?
I don't know. Like, I didn't actually think about this question too much because I want to come up with them off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. The one I knew right away. If I sit down at a table and I know 5 people are going to show up from any era, celebrities, whatever. Number 1, sitting to my left, is Jesus Christ.
Shut up.
I just want to talk to him and see what's up. I just want to be like, so how'd that go? You know, like. I want to get his side of the story.
Oh my.
And then I'd probably invite someone funny too. I was thinking I would invite Ricky Gervais because I think he's fucking hilarious, and I think he would lose his fucking mind if he met Jesus Christ too, which would be just hilarious. I'd probably invite like a reality TV star so they could just sit there and not talk the entire time, so they could realize they're not that important.
Yeah.
And they only feel important. But I wouldn't invite like a Kardashian because that one of those wouldn't shut up. They'd try and talk over Jesus. And I'd be like, get the fuck out.
Talking over Jesus.
I would probably actually invite like one of the captains from Below Deck.
Yeah?
Maybe Captain Sandy, because I think she'd actually be kind of cool to talk to, but I think she'd also be quiet and like listen. I would invite a celebrity chef because I know that they would make sure the meal is prepared.
We gotta do a chef. Yes.
I might spend my last two to invite Tom and Padma and just be like, can you guys judge the food in front of Jesus after he fucking like turns water into wine? And they're like, I don't know about this wine pairing with the bread and the fish.
I love Tom Colicchio, but I don't think I would invite Tom. I would definitely invite Padma.
Oh,
Padma,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. She's just, love her.
She's very cultured too. She'd be fascinating to talk to.
Absolutely. I don't know who else I would want to invite. Maybe Michelangelo or something. Whoever carved David.
I tried to pick people who I could speak to, and I imagine Jesus with his Jesus powers would know English when he showed up at my table. But realistically, I think he spoke Aramaic, and he'd be like, I have no idea what the fuck you're saying, bro.
I just want, those artists from back in the day, I want to ask them just how did it feel just carving a bunch of dicks?
You know what? I think I'd cancel Tom, and I would invite Vincent Van Gogh.
Okay.
Just to let him know,
he can't hear you. He can't hear you.
He has 2 ears. You know that, right? Just like that episode of Doctor Who, and I'd be like, I just want you to know, everyone loves your shit. Bro.
I would do what that episode of Doctor Who did and take him to a museum where everyone talks about how he is one of the greatest painters of all time.
I mean, I'd have Jesus there to tell him that, so I don't think you need to go to a museum. You're welcome, Vincent. You're at my table and you get to meet Jesus.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
I know this is a ridiculous answer to a fun question, but hey, you asked it. I answered. Deal with it. Thank you, Sia, for sending that one. Next question. What would you do if you had the opportunity to have any wish granted? This one's hard, man.
It's hard because is it like a monkey paw wish?
That's the first thing I thought of. Is it going to fuck me over if I don't specify things well enough?
Do I need to get my lawyer involved?
Right.
So I don't know. If it was just anything like,
what are the rules? Can I wish for more wishes?
If it was absolutely just like, yeah, whatever you wish, there's no negative effect. You can live your life how you want based on your wish. I think I would want the financial means to travel the world the way I would love to. And, just experience all these things that I don't get to experience because I have to work, I have to go to work and do all this stuff all day, every week. You just do the same thing over and over and over again. And
there's just a lot of questions I have to like what the rules are of this wish. Cause like, if I could just wish to be omnipotent, I could basically be the genie and then grant myself all the wishes I wanted after that and just change everything.
I'm not that selfish.
I think if it's like normal genie rules where they have a limit to their powers, you can't kill people, you can't wish for more wishes, can't wish for someone to fall in love with you, that sort of thing. I don't know how fucking like let chaos reign I would get. I wouldn't wish for money. I wouldn't. I would probably wish for something that would affect the whole world. And like, I'd like to think I could figure out a way where it's like, I wish for like, cancer to not be around. Something horrible.
That'd be cool. That'd be good.
Or like, I wish I had the power to heal people, but I can only see so many people in a lifetime, I'd probably be like, I wish everyone from now until the end of time couldn't lie. Like, I get lying is kind of important and you kind of need to do it in social situations. But I really think if you had people who were leaders, especially people in positions of power that had to say things truthfully, they would immediately be removed. Like, if you had to do that, if you went into Congress and you asked people direct questions and they did not have the ability to lie or dance around it or anything like that, they had to directly answer truth, I'm pretty sure the world would change overnight. It would be insane. I think that would be like let chaos reign sort of thing. It would be crazy.
Okay, that's your chaotic side coming out. You could
sure.
also wish for the mindset of everyone to change so that not everybody's selfish and thinking about themselves all the time.
I think that one's kind of like the genie would be like, like that one's a little bit too much because you're forcing away free will from people. But that's kind of like my wish too. I'm forcing away people's free will to lie.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of on this. I'll just say $1 billion. How about that?
That's why I'm like,
$1 billion.
I want a sick ass job where I can travel and eat food. Just give that to me. Give that to me so that I could just live a life of amazing
I'll just take the healing powers. That way I can put my hands on someone here like, and like 5 seconds later, whatever ailment they have is gone. That would be pretty dope. All right.
Does it bother you or is it a bad thing when people ask you to read their story specifically? No. If you guys want us to read it, we'll read it. There's nowhere, we are not the type of people who are like, oh, these people are asking us to read it. Ugh. You know, you guys are sending it to us.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to share that with our spooky friends out there.
I'm always so happy that people share their stories.
Yeah, I mean,
I should also say this next cluster comes from Jessica. So Jessica sent in a bunch, like a list.
Cool.
They asked, like, is there a limit? I'm like, nope. So they sent a bunch in. So we're going to go through all those. So we'll say that was the last of Jessica's questions when we get done. As far as, does it bother us or is it a bad thing? No, never. The only thing where I'm just like a little bit surprised is when someone sends their story and they say like, hey, let me know when you guys are going to read it. And if I send them an email, they're like, hey, this is on the next episode. And then like 3 months later, they email back and they're like, hey, did you guys ever read my story?
That is annoying.
And they're like replying to the email I sent them to let them know it was on this specific episode. Yeah. And I'm just like, did you even listen to the show? Did you even care? Did someone show you the show? And you're like, oh, I got to send them my story and see if they read it. And then you just like forgot about us. So
we like when people, I guess, interact more and get to know us and we get to know them. And there are a lot of people that we've met through this show that I feel like we know more than people we've met in real life.
Yeah,
a little bit. So, you know, I don't know. I appreciate that interaction, that relationship that we build with people.
All right. Next question. Is there anything you're hyper aware of now because of the stories that have been sent in?
I have a really big fear of night terrors and what is it called? Sleep paralysis. We've had so many stories of sleep paralysis and stuff like that. And now, I'm more afraid when I go to sleep. I'm always afraid that this is going to be it. This is going to be the time. It's going to happen, you know?
I don't think there's anything that I'm more aware of or scared about from emails that were written in. I would say that I just think that things that I thought were a little bit more rare are more common than I thought they were. Like sleep paralysis or sleepwalking or weird things that happen to people after their relatives pass away. That's like a message being sent. Those things are very common, and we kind of figured that out. Because of how many emails we got about it. And every time we have an email about it on the show, I feel like we get 2 or 3 more when that episode goes live. So send yours in. Yeah, so send those in.
All right, so the next question is, how do you think you'd react if you went out with some friends and they did a surprise seance? Would you stay out of curiosity or bail? What if it took place in a remote place? 1, I'm not letting my friend drag me to a remote place, you know? And
you say that, but I think you have friends that would be like, oh, it's okay, we'll drive. And then the next thing you know, you'll be like, where the fuck am I?
No.
And you just better hope they're not doing a seance there.
I think I'm smart enough to be like, this is not a right turn. I'm getting out. Fucking tuck and roll. Okay?
Tuck and roll.
Surprise seance. I'm leaving. I'm not into that. Not my vibe. I'm not going to participate.
Okay, I will say, up until I say 35, I would have been like, are you guys serious right now? All right. And I would have been like, let's do it. Nowadays, it'd be like, no, get me the fuck out of here. And I would be very annoyed if it was in a remote place. Whoever took me there, if I had to drive, I'd be like, I'm leaving all of you here, or you can get in the car. If I got driven there, whoever had the keys, I would physically take the keys from them and be like, call me when you're done. I'm fucking leaving.
Wow.
So I would not hang out because they did that to me, and I would be super pissed about it. All right, next one. Do you think you've got a clear, I don't know, idea, I guess, of the spirit world since the beginning of the podcast?
No.
Not really, no.
Have you listened to other spooky podcasts?
No, I want to expand on mine just tiny bit on that one. I don't think I have a clear idea. I do think that I have a very open mind to what it could be. And because of that, like, I've taken in more ideas. But for the most part, I already knew a lot before we started the show. And I think it's not expanded necessarily, but it's still open. So that's a good thing.
All right. So the next one is, I'm going to paraphrase here, but do you listen to other spooky podcasts? Have you come across others that kind of seem less genuine, a little mocking, or stuff like that? I don't
really listen to spooky podcasts in general. I've checked out a few. I know I've listened to a couple of them, like Last Podcast on the Left, I think that one's called.
I like that one, but
yeah, so I've listened to a few, but not regularly by any means. As far as have I heard something that's not genuine, I don't think so. I've had people tell me about other podcasts they listen to where they're like, oh, I don't like this one because of this, or I don't like this one because of that. So I just sort of avoided them.
We kind of, I don't think, I feel like I'm too old to live in the drama of the social media stuff or like podcast stuff, YouTube stuff. Like There's so many YouTubers and TikTok people that I have no idea who they are, and people talk about drama or how shitty someone is.
Did you just say you want to start an F1 podcast and talk shit about the drivers?
No, I don't want to talk shit about the drivers.
Or talk about the drivers' dirt off the track.
It's not about talking about the dirt, but it's about all the activities that happen off the track. And like say for, I think it was Abu Dhabi. I don't know.
Oh my God, you're literally going to give us another example of F1 shit on another question.
But maybe it was, I don't remember which race it was. Maybe it was Vegas. But Checo got given a penalty, and it, for a lot of people, was a bullshit penalty. Like stuff like that, like reasons why those things happen, or the drama that happens because of a call like that, and how it affects, you know, the people on the grid and how it affects all that stuff.
Jesus
I
Christ.
just think it's pretty
I'm moving
cool.
you off of your F1 pitch again. The answer for me basically is no, and I will say, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Ghost Adventures. I think the show it turns everything into like it has to be a 100% confirmed case of ghost or demon, and I think that doesn't do anything justice. I think it's disrespectful, and I do think they mock things in certain ways and shapes and forms, which is why I don't fucking like that show, and I refuse to watch it. So if I hear stuff like that about a podcast, I'm just going to be the same way.
I think, I mean, I watch the Ghoul Boys. I watch Watcher. I follow that YouTube channel. I love, Ryan and Shane, and I think their content might come off as a little mocking or a little, sarcastic, but
I think it's different than like Ghost Adventures though. Like Ghost Adventures is disgenuine versus someone who tries to confront a scary situation through either skepticism or humor, which is funny and entertaining, versus someone who shows up and like, I sense a spirit here that's contacting me that tells me it really likes my six pack and my tattoos are cool.
And I think that's the difference, is that they are genuine.
Yeah.
They just aren't like, everything is serious and ghosts are this and blah, 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 blah. But everything that they do, I think, is incredibly genuine, and they're incredibly funny.
You can just notice it in the hosts, like those two guys, because they just seem like good people. Whereas when you watch someone who just seems fake as fuck, you're like, I bet this person's fake as fuck in real life too. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's move forward to the next one. Would you be down to doing a show for a TV/movie streaming service? Absolutely.
Hit us up.
I pitch it all the fucking time. If I can get in an elevator with a TV executive that I can give a 30-second elevator pitch to, boom, we got a show. And we'll see how that works out. It will never happen.
Let's see. The next question is, have you ever thought about how to get away with murder?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has.
Probably too often, but I think that's because of the show. I didn't used to think about it as often as I think about it now. I think that has to do with my social media algorithms and shit and all the memes I see.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks about it a little bit like when you're watching a true crime documentary or something like that, which leads into the next question.
Why'd you jerk off on the body?
Oh my
Their
God.
court's gonna find you.
Yeah, the next question is like, do you ever think of like a rookie mistake when you listen to podcasts or
every
watch
time someone jerks off on a body, I'm just like, rookie mistake?
No, I don't. I think it's dumb when they do stuff like go back, you know, to the scene of the crime, or
Google
or take when you take a trophy from it, and then it's just like, or there's some people that
Joe wouldn't have had shit to worry about in season 1 of You if he wouldn't have taken fucking trophies.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
She would have never found it.
Stupid
There would have been nothing to find if he just did it and that was it and he was done.
Yeah.
But like,
move on with your life and don't Google shit. There's a guy that literally gets arraigned, or not maybe arraigned, but he's in a court setting and the other lawyer is presenting like evidence. And she's like, at this time you Googled how to dispose a body. At this time you Googled how to melt a body with acid. And it's like 40 fucking Google searches about the crime he just committed that he pled not guilty to.
There's some people too that get drunk, go to the bar and say like, I killed someone. What are they going to do about it? They'll never catch me. It's like, you're talking about it to someone.
I don't think I could ever kill someone. I think I would defend myself or my loved ones if I needed to. But I don't think I could ever be like so enraged that I would act out of violence and kill someone and be like, now how do I get away with this? My first instinct is to confess when I do something wrong because my parents like drilled into me like this horrible fucking sense of guilt. Like I remember I fucking stole like tickets from a Chuck E. Cheese style place back in like Northwest Indiana because there was like a fucking open machine. It was like an open skee ball machine. I just grabbed a bunch and pulled them. And then like I cashed them in and I got a gumball dispenser. And on the car ride home, I cried and gave it to my brother because I was so guilty. I couldn't keep the fucking thing. And he was like, "You're a bitch." Like, he just made fun of me relentlessly for that.
Oh, you're so funny. Okay.
I think he said, "No." How often do I commit crimes and lie about it?
Hey, no, it's not crime, but it's like, you went to Taco Bell today and you're like,
it's because you monitor my fucking food.
You're like, that's from fucking yesterday.
That's happened 2 or 3 times because you monitor my food like you're my dad. Meanwhile, you're like, yeah, every Tuesday I go and I fucking eat whatever I want with my buddies from work. And it's like, cool. I eat sandwiches every fucking day out of the fridge because I work from home. I went and got Taco Bell. Sorry it pissed you off.
It didn't piss
Sorry
me off.
I spent my own goddamn money didn't feel like confessing to you that I wanted a fucking chalupa today. Okay?
No, I think it's funny that you feel like you need to lie about that.
I think it's funny that you fucking equate me trying to be private about my lunch habits with what I confess to murder. Maybe if I ate the body, then I try and find it like, no, I didn't eat Bill from next door. God.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. You're such an asshole.
Anyway, thank you, Jessica, for sending us all those questions. Okay.
This next one, there's another cluster here. These are from Amanda. All right. What's a natural event you're most afraid of? Both that you've covered and not yet
Tornado.
covered. Most afraid of that I've covered, probably Yellowstone. Just because we live pretty close to it, I'm pretty sure we'd be super fucked. I often, and I mean oft, like, you know that fucking question, like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? However often people think about the Roman Empire, I think about how I would survive a tidal wave coming over the fucking mountain range.
Okay. Because
it would probably be due to a meteor impact. And I'm like, the only way you survive that shit is to go up. And I don't own a fucking helicopter. I used to sit around all the time when I worked at Credit One, and I look at the mountain range to the fucking west, and it's a huge range of mountains. I'm pretty sure Sierra Nevada mountains. And I'd be like, if you just saw a wall of water, if the ocean went over those mountains, what the fuck would you do? And I think about that all the time. I'd say I think about that 3 or 4 times a week.
Wow.
I'm not necessarily afraid of it. I'm not necessarily afraid of it, but I'm constantly thinking like, how would I survive this situation? I think about it often enough that I'm like almost convinced it's how I'm going to die. Because it's like stuck in my brain.
All right. So next, have there been storytime stories that have either changed your own perspectives or changed the way you've done things for the show and personally? No, I don't think so. I think we read them. I think our show has changed from our first live streams to what we do now. We used to not take them as seriously as we do now.
I don't think that's true. I think we took them way more seriously to start. We got feedback via review, so it wasn't necessarily a story time that said that they didn't like the thing we used to do, where on Twitch you could redeem points to like have me do a silly voice. And we do that during people's story times, and someone said they thought it was disrespectful. When we read that review, we're like, you know what? It was. And we literally went back 10 episodes and re-recorded anything we did with a silly voice because we're like, that is totally true. Because if I wrote someone an email and I was listening to it and I was like, oh, so-and-so just redeemed a thing, and then my mom got cancer, I'd be like, fuck these people. Yeah. We didn't do that, for the record, but I understood why people would be upset by it.
And so that's something that we did change.
Yeah. That's the closest, I think. And then someone corrected us for saying prostitutes and we said sex workers.
There's certain... We've gotten feedback on certain things, and we have changed how we read things, how we say things, and hopefully that is for the better.
We're just trying to not be disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm deliberately trying to disrespect them. I will say regarding the prostitute call girl thing, or prostitute, fuck, Carl. I was just thinking of Archer. That's why I did that. The prostitute sex worker thing. Like, that was something where I didn't even realize that one was offensive and the other one wasn't, so I'm glad that someone let me know.
Yeah.
The fucking Archer joke, by the way, is from the second episode ever of Archer, where he's like, he calls a call girl that he sees all the time, and they're like using her to like train one of the agents, and they think they accidentally kill her. And the whole episode, the guy they're training keeps calling her a hooker, and he keeps getting corrected, like, to say call girl, because it's more respectful. And then when they think she's dead and she's laying there, he's like, oh no, I killed the call girl. And they're like, yeah, it's a hooker. When they're dead, they're just hookers. And like that to me is the epitome of the correction that I got, but in reverse. where it's just like, no, say the one that's not offensive. So I appreciate it. Also, that joke is hilarious and that show is amazing. Has there been anything spooky happen to you guys since you've done the podcast that you think may have come from your involvement in it? No, I don't think so. I have a protection against evil that hangs off my microphone. I got it when we went to Japan. I got it very specifically to put on this microphone. So I would mainly protect you guys from me putting this shit out there into the world. You know how skeptical I am, but it's like, hey, couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
I think because we look at things from a perspective of understanding and caring, that it kind of, whatever bad vibes we could bring onto ourselves from investigating stuff like this counteracts that a little bit. And that's sort of my like hippie way of thinking about it. So straight
up, no. I we cover what we cover, and I don't think anything weird has ever happened because of it.
Next question.
Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you hadn't made the podcast? Would life be different? Do you think you'll ever stop?
There's a parenthesis that says, please don't think I'm suggesting you stop. I love it, and I would be heartbroken, but understanding if that were a decision you both had to make.
Honestly, we can't do this forever.
Yeah. We're gonna run out of stuff.
We're gonna run out of stuff, or we're gonna run out of steam. There's no way that this show has the longevity for us to go into our 50s doing the same thing.
But as far as if I ever wonder what would have happened if we hadn't made the podcast, I never wonder that. I do wonder how much free time would I have if we didn't do the podcast, because it's like when people retire. It's like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? And in my mind, I'm like, obviously, I'd make another show. Like, I've been talking into a microphone for the last 10 fucking years. It would be so weird for me to not have podcasting in my life.
I think without the podcast, we wouldn't be out here in California.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Holy shit.
I think that it's...
Wow! You blew my mind.
I think it's been such an important part of what we do and how things have progressed to this point. Yeah. And we couldn't be here without you guys. And honestly, when we say that, we're not kidding.
Yeah, it's changed our lives. And do you think you'll ever stop? Robin kind of covered it.
Never stop, never stopping.
I think the point at which we will decide, like, maybe we should think about stopping is if we're so out of topics and we're so out of ideas and the quality is suffering so much that we might want to be like, I don't want to just like go on because people are still listening and we still have a Patreon. Like, people deserve quality content. I think by the time we got to that point, we'd have ideas for other shit we'd rather do anyways. So like, I think that would be the catalyst. I know we had someone that sent in an email or put a review on something of ours in like February. And it was just like, clearly they're going to cancel the podcast. Like, the quality is suffering. And I read that, and like, I had just written a script like the week before that review posted that I was like, this might be the best topic I've ever done. So when I read that, I was like, I get it. We take an episode off every now and then, but that person's a fucking idiot. Like, I sincerely felt that way. And like, people have posted on some of our recent episodes, they're like, this was your best episode ever. So as far as burnout goes, I think we're doing a good job of avoiding it. So
that's why we take breaks. So if you guys see that there's a week off or something like that, like
I try and post to socials. Sometimes I just want to hide in the fucking closet and not talk to anyone. So.
I want to remind everyone that we both have full-time jobs, like real people jobs. I literally work for the government full-time. And Adam,
I work in game development, and sometimes that shit goes fucking wild.
And so it's something where, sometimes I'm exhausted, okay? I have cried, okay, for coming home from work. Sometimes we just can't handle the stresses of our work lives, and
it's researching a topic is a ton of fucking work. Like, sitting down and researching and making sure there's quality content, and I don't want to put out a half-ass shitty sleepy episode. I'd much rather skip a week, come back refreshed, and motivated to nail it the next week. And that's how I feel, and I think most people understand. I watch the download numbers that come in weekly very closely, and the motivating factor of not having a new episode and seeing the massive dip in the amount of listens that we've gotten is always kind of terrifying, and it kind of motivates you to put an episode out there.
I don't want to put out trash, though.
But I don't want to put out trash. I'd much rather do an episode a couple days late or just skip a week than put out something where we're sleepy and the scripts suck. And we're not even laughing because we're falling asleep while the other person is talking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, I think, the only thing that would ever get to the point where it's like, do we have anything left in the tank, man?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, serious question. I appreciate that you asked it. I think
It's your turn.
My turn. Is there something you have a premonition about based on your research you've done for a topic, like Yellowstone erupting, a global conflict escalating, certain individuals causing major issues if allowed into a position of power, i.e. history repeating? Obviously, I predicted COVID. So I am modern day Nostradamus. I just told you that a meteor is going to hit, and I need to be prepared to get off the ground.
I don't have any premonition powers, so no for me.
I don't have any premonition powers like that either. I think I just have the normal concerns of the day-to-day citizen of like, I hope this natural disaster doesn't happen. We live in California now, so it's like, I hope we don't get a big earthquake because I don't want all my stuff to be destroyed, no big loss of life to happen, and have to be worried about my loved ones. And I'm just as concerned as the next person about like scumbags getting into power and doing awful things, and I hope that doesn't happen, across the board, regardless of if it's in the country we live in or a country you live in or just anywhere in the world. Like, I hope decent people get into power, but I don't have any premonitions. That meteor's probably going to hit. That's all I'm saying.
Next question. Anything that might be considered a conspiracy theory that you believe has sincere credence that you've avoided covering? I don't think there's a conspiracy theory that I believe in that I've avoided covering. I've avoided covering Jonestown because that one is fucking crazy.
I don't subscribe to conspiracy theories generally. I've heard a lot when it comes to politics, the arena of politics, and I definitely don't want to cover it because it's always something that's batshit crazy. I don't want to cover it if I believe it. I don't want to cover it if it's obvious horseshit because people always get mad when you touch their conspiracy theories.
I wish you guys could see the eye roll. It was
there is one conspiracy theory that I saw on TikTok where I was just like, that seems real. Like, it freaked me out. It has nothing to do with politics. It is about just sort of like people faking their death. And I saw it and I was like, if I cover this, it is, and I'm wrong, and I do the research and I'm not sure, but I decided to go forward with it because it's such a compelling topic, the way the TikTok story was, it is incredibly disrespectful. And that gave me a moment of pause that I didn't move past, where I was just like, if I cover this and people find it fascinating, and then there's stuff I couldn't uncover that proves beyond the shadow of a doubt I'm wrong, I am a piece of shit beyond measure, and I do not want to do that to anyone who has actually lost someone that I'm then going out and saying this was a hoax. Because, like, that is horrible. And despite the fact that I thought, holy fuck, this is crazy, I can do the independent research and then come about my conclusions, and then maybe you never know if I want to talk about it in the future. But yeah, there's one in particular. I don't even want to share it. But yeah, it's just about people faking their own death. Like a group of people that it's assumed that they faked their own death that blew my fucking mind. So
he'll tell me later.
Yeah, I've already told her a million times. She's gonna be like,
The next question's for me specifically, asking about my parents and my family after the Lahaina fires on Maui, and they're good. I mean, thank you to everybody who has donated and helped them out, and shout out to FEMA and Red Cross for being out there. Like, my parents, I believe, still don't have electricity, but I guess FEMA or something, Red Cross has set up like a big tower, like an electricity tower or generator somewhere out in the street, so they have like wires running from out in the street to their house and stuff to run like their rice cooker.
The people who work for those places are just incredible, and like the logistics when a disaster like that happens are an absolute nightmare, figuring out how to get help to people, especially when it's in a place as remote as Hawaii.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got out there as quickly as they did, even though like every second that passes where it's not arrived yet seems like an eternity, when you look at it from a grand perspective of like how things were affected and the aid that's been provided, it's amazing. So yeah, huge shout out.
But yeah, thank you for checking in.
All right, and the last one from Amanda, on the more light-hearted side. What is your favorite Disney ride or attraction, Disney snack, and Disney character? I'm going to go first. Disney ride or attraction, the Incredicoaster. Favorite Disney snack, the cookie right outside Incredicoaster. It's a chocolate chip cookie. It's huge.
He's not even lying.
It's like $4 and it's amazing. Favorite Disney character, Aladdin, because he was brown. It came out when I was in second grade and I was the only brown kid in my school, and I was like, I'm the diamond in the rough.
Okay, I was thinking when it was Disney character, I was totally thinking like mascot at Disney, but that makes more sense, like actual Disney character. Let's see. My favorite Disney ride has to be Haunted Mansion or Rise of the Resistance.
Okay.
I wish I were total opposites. I just freaking love Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance
I think
is fucking
amazing.
sweet. I just have only gone on it twice because the line is so goddamn long.
I used to work there, so I've ridden it way more.
And the Fast Pass is like $20 for that one ride by itself.
Than that.
It's insane.
It's freaking dumb.
You know, I changed my answer to where I'd want to live if financially I didn't have to worry about it. Rise of the Resistance. I would just live on that ride the whole time.
It would break down all the time.
So do I.
But yeah, so it'd be between Haunted Mansion, Rise of the Resistance. Favorite Disney snack has to be
Robin when she worked at Disney.
The churro. Oh, that's funny because I'm a snack. No, I love the churros. Every time there's a themed churro, I want to try
lightsaber churros. So much fun.
The themed ones are so funny. Some of them taste awful, but like you want to try it, right?
Least favorite Disney snack, the turkey leg.
Yes.
Did not like the turkey leg.
It tastes like ham.
Had no idea how smoked it would be. Tasted just like ham. I was like, I've eaten turkey.
Favorite meal?
It tastes like ham.
Favorite meal at Disneyland has to be the lobster mac and cheese. Bomb.
From where?
From there's Pirates, and then across from Pirates you have like, you know, where the ship is and stuff, like the moat that goes around. There's like a little shack. I forget what it's called.
The little shack.
But it's like a secret menu item, I think. The lobster mac and cheese.
Oh, I'm going to have to say also, this isn't a snack, but it's a meal. Cafe Orleans, which is in that same area, has the dopest Monte Cristo sandwich I've ever eaten. It's so fucking good. I order it every time we go there. So toss that out there.
Disney character, Mulan. It's my cop out.
I mean, Aladdin's my cop out. So, all right. We have some questions from Eve. Some of Eve's questions have already been asked, so we're going to skip out on a few of them, but that's okay. This next one, the first one actually is, do you think about doing a Valentine's special? I have a story for you. I've never thought about it, but in retrospect,
send it to us.
Yeah, one, we want to hear your story. And two, like we could do like Love Gone Wrong on Valentine's Day. That would be super fucking fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
As soon as I read that question, I was like, the movie The War of the Roses. I don't know how many of you seen it. I think it's Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. And it's just like a married couple who decide they don't want to be together anymore. And they basically just try and kill each other until they succeed. And that movie's really good. And I thought about that. I was like, there's got to be fucking like deadly romance out there that we could cover on Valentine's Day. That could be really fun.
Next one's, what's the best and worst part of having a podcast? Ooh. No time.
It's a deep question.
New friends.
Best part about having a podcast, the money. That's all I care about.
We don't make fucking money.
Worst part, everything else. No.
Best part definitely is meeting new people, making friends. I think Faye is one of the coolest people I have ever met.
It's hard because we've met so many people, and I know if we don't name someone that we've met, it'll make them feel bad, but we've just met so many folks in person. It's been so cool to get to know all of you.
Yeah, like Jang Mi, it was so funny meeting in person. You guys are so... Everybody that we've ever hung out with in person, you guys are so fun to hang out with and talk to, and you guys are all so sweet.
Even the people that we don't necessarily interact with a lot. Like the folks who are like moderating our stuff over there on Facebook.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Yeah, like thank you so much for that. Like, you know, Glitch moderates everything we do. I go live at 1 a.m. his time on my personal channel. And he's on to moderate my stuff. And like I talk to Glitch all the time outside of the show about like fucking super nerdy shit, you know? And that's awesome. And I don't have a whole lot of friendships that I talk to people that often. So yeah, the best part, definitely meeting people.
Worst part is no time. I hate how little time we have outside of work, and then it's like we also work because it's the podcast, and that's a little bit of our side jobs, right? And so it's I wish we had more time, or like somehow we could condense all the work that we do for the podcast in like a nice little time capsule.
Yeah. Worst part is definitely time constraints. Like time constraints, not necessarily because it's not the podcast fault, but like you have to find a pretty healthy chunk of time to jam into an already busy and exhausting schedule to provide a quality product. And that is hard. It's some days where it's like today we have to do the podcast today. Like I'll ask Robin like on her way home, like, what's your topic tonight? And it's just like, oh, fuck. And like, you just remember, like, I forgot. I haven't picked a topic.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like I've been at work for, 11 hours?
Yeah.
And
if you kind of have an idea what your topic's going to be, like a few days early, you start thinking about it. You're almost kind of forming a script in your head of like, well, I'm probably going to cover this, and this is kind of how I want to talk about it. When it hits you and you forgot, like you were so busy and so stressed all week, and then like, I have to do the show. It's like remembering you have a project due tomorrow, or a project due at midnight is the better feeling for it. That's probably the worst part of just knowing like, I don't have time. I don't have energy. Like it's exhausting. And sometimes life just doesn't allow you to pace it out properly, so it doesn't overwhelm you.
Yeah. And then the last one from Eve. Do you think you might do a revisit to a favorite episode? And I think we've answered this question already, where it's just something that's been solved or something like that would be something I'd revisit.
Yeah.
Or, something that you wrote an amazing script on that you want to redo. I think posting it on Patreon or something so you guys can listen to it would be
obviously
cool.
When Yellowstone erupts, we'll probably revisit that topic to talk about the best ways you can filter the ash from your life.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that.
So thank you so much, Eve, for all those questions. And then you can read that last one.
The last one's from Nelina, and this one says, what plans / ideas do you have for the 7th year of the podcast?
Canceling.
That was the joke I was going to make too, and I was like, Robin will get so mad if I make that.
No, I think I have actually gotten feedback, too much true crime, maybe.
Who gave you that feedback?
I feel like
we don't do nearly enough true crime.
Do we need to do more true crime? I don't know. You guys tell us. You want more true crime, more haunted stuff?
Here's what I would like to do. I don't know necessarily have plans. There's my ideas. One, I would like to get on a more consistent schedule so that we know this is our week off every month,
Okay.
Versus like now where it's just like hit or miss, where it's like, I don't have the energy. I think if we have a more consistent routine, we didn't miss an episode for 5 years,
Yeah.
Because it was habit. We made sure we were going to do it. I think if we can get on that schedule again, it's less inconsistent. I think that'll be beneficial for us and for you as well. I would like to have more special guests.
Yes.
I think we used to have more special guests frequently. We basically tapped friends and family members like, hey, come over because we are too tired to do an episode. We just want to talk to you. And now
so I think
we need to reach out to other content creators that we might not necessarily already know or have a relationship with. And if they're interested in coming on and telling their spooky stories, I think that could be really fun for us to meet them and learn about them through their story. The problem is we're not popular or famous enough to reach out to people and for them to know who the fuck we even are. So it's kind of challenging in that way. And we don't listen to other
and maybe
stuff.
Maybe we need to. Maybe we need to expand our horizons.
I feel guilty like reaching out to someone like any of the McElroys and be like, would you like to be on our show? Because as much as it's like, you're the content creators I listen to, and I think it'd be very interesting to hear if you have a story to share like this, it also seems very self-serving where it's like, I know you have a huge audience and it would really help my show if you tweeted that you were on my show. So then I'm like, well, then do I target someone that has a smaller audience? And it's like, do I target someone like Jason Schreier, who's like a great, investigative journalist, and he's well known in his small area of the world, but at the same time, he's not as hugely famous, in the nerd world as Griffin McElroy. And then again, it's like, I own his books. I listen to his podcast. Is this just me wanting to get someone I'm a fan of on the show? So it's really hard to figure out who the fuck to reach out to sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do we just ask like people who listen to the show? And if we do that, is it going to be awkward because we don't really know them or how long their story is? Or like when you reach out to someone who has a podcast, they understand and they'll ask you questions like, how much time do I need to fill? How serious should this be? Can I swear? Those types of things. So yeah, it's what I would love to do. And it's, a work in progress on the plan.
Yeah.
Figure it out. What about you? Do you have any plans for season 7 besides canceling?
No. I just think I'm going to spread research out over a longer period of time. So if we do take a week off, it's because I want to spend more time researching a certain topic or maybe doing a little more. Maybe I want to do interviewing of other people instead, where we know this has happened. And so we go and reach out to these people. Like we were going to have the extraterrestrial people on, but they
covering that.
They had just released a documentary, so they didn't really have time.
COVID hit right in the middle of their release too. It was a nightmare.
And so I think I want to do a little bit more of that kind of stuff. And I don't know, new things,
What I've always thought about this too, because I always have these concerns of like, do I feel like a fucking douchebag for reaching out to these people? if I got super famous, like that question that I What's for Dinner asked, where it's like, biggest show in the world, they're going to make a docudrama about me and you. I would start a podcast. I would name it Charity Bang, where it's like a beautiful person bangs an ugly person, out of charity. I would call my podcast Charity Bang, and I would just be like, I want to bring on someone who's just starting out or has been doing this for a long time with a audience.
I hate that name.
And I want them to like get the exposure to the massive audience that I have, where they can come in and we can talk about whatever they want.
You don't want to have it be like inspirational or something nice. It has to be something crude like Charity Bang.
Yeah, 1000%.
No, I fucking hate that.
And I want people to have to email me and be like, will you Charity Bang me?
Oh, no.
Like, absolutely.
No, I hate that. I fucking hate that. But I'm
obviously not being serious, but you know what I mean. Like some way that you can like shine a light on small audience content creators.
There's people like Dax Shepard who are just famous and then start a podcast because they're famous, and then they get all these people on their freaking podcast.
The guy who plays Rafi on The League, who's in like every show as a cameo or as a special guest or a regular character. He started a show called How Is This Made? Him and a couple of other people, which is the like literal same format as the Flophouse. And they know him. They've known him for a long time. And almost immediately their show got more listeners and more reviews. And they have been doing their show for like 10 years. Yeah. And they're like, we wish him all the success in the world.
But fuck him.
Just really hard when you've been doing this for a very long time to see someone do a very similar idea to you. And just based off the fact that they're more famous, immediately get all that more attention.
Yeah. Rafi's hilarious, though. He
is fucking hilarious. Because of that, though, I've never listened to it. Because I've always listened to the Flophouse, and I was like, I'm only listening to these guys.
Loyalty.
Like, but then we're gonna make Scene Missing at some point. In the last 4 years, I've been saying we're gonna make Scene Missing. But if that ever comes out, they might be like, these fucking bastards. Like they're doing a movie podcast too.
But yeah, thank you, Nalina, for that question. Thank you, everybody who gave us some questions. You guys gave us a lot. This is a long ass episode. Hopefully you guys aren't sick of talking or listening to us talk.
Ron was like, let's only answer a few of them.
Because look, we're at an hour and a half.
I was like, we do this once a year. This is basically the episode that belongs to the listeners. You guys are
probably bored out of your minds. You guys don't want to know about us. You guys want to know about the ghosts, the demons, the murders, right? But this is us. This is all the information about us and our stupid brains and how they freaking work. And hopefully insight into what's coming next and some insight into why things are the way they are.
I want to start doing more game streams, but Robin keeps planning shit on Saturdays, and that's the only day that we can really do them. So like on Fridays, I'll be like, what are we doing tomorrow? And she'll tell me, I'll be like, fuck. So
yeah, that's when qualies are, man.
We gotta put down an actual time to start doing some game streams, and maybe it would be pretty fucking fun to burn through all of Baldur's Gate. I'm not going to lie, because that game is dope. It just won Game of the Year. It won Best RPG. It won a bunch of other awards.
Sounds like I know what we're doing on Saturday.
So, are we doing it on Saturday? I thought we already had plans this fucking Saturday.
Oh, yeah. My sister's in town.
Yep. There you go. That's my life in a nutshell, folks. But yeah, thank you for sending us the questions. We sincerely appreciate it. You guys really don't got to wait until the anniversary episode. Although every time it is coming up, I'm terrified we're not going to get any questions. But yeah. This has been fun. We should do it again. See you this time next year. Hopefully. Maybe that meteor will hit. We never know. I think this is about everything, though. I'm burnt out. I got to edit this episode and get it out for you guys. So, Robin, why don't you go ahead and sign us? No, wait. We got to do all this stuff. If you want to send us your story, if you're like, I got a story, I want you to read it, email storytime@scaryish.com or go to scaryish.com, click on contact us, fill out the form. It comes directly to us, or hit us up on our socials. We know you know how. You sent these fucking questions, didn't you? All right. Facebook is facebook.com/scariyshpodcast. Twitter is @scariyshpod. Instagram is @scariyshpodcast. Or you can join our Discord. Go on to the Scaryish website, scaryish.com. There's a little ticker that ticks by going. You just click on
what a waste of time.
Join us on Discord. It'll take you right to it. So, Robin, how can folks give us their money?
If you would like to donate to us and help us keep the show going, you can always go to patreon.com/scariyshpodcast. Those are monthly donations with tiers starting at $1. I have gone through all of our pins for the winter season. So if you are a Badge of Honor patron and above, I'm going to start packaging those. I do need to still order the stickers that I want to put in there. I wanted to make this a bigger package than usual because shut up, because you guys have waited 2 seasons and I wanted to add some fall stuff and some Christmas stuff in there. So please be a little bit more patient. Might go into January. I'm so sorry, but I am trying my best here. It's just us.
It's a small operation.
But if you're not into the monthly donation type thing, you can also go to coffeeko-fi.com, and that's strictly just one-time donations that just go to helping us maybe buy new equipment or pay for the uploading fees and web
hosting fees are very fucking expensive. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, thank you guys, everyone, for supporting us and getting us this far. We really wouldn't be here without you.
Yep, 6 years is crazy, but onwards and upwards. Thank you so much to everyone who listens, everyone who supports us. You guys are amazing. Robin, so that's everything.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.